turns out the Smurfs movie's pretty good. I'm kidding, of course. It's pretty damn terrible. Well, kind of. This movie was gonna be the kind of new punching bag of the year post-Minecraft movie, and I was expecting this to be really down in the dumps, and unfortunately, they've made some good changes since the trailer came out. You've seen the likes of this. I mean, look at it. It looks like a 2010 movie that for some reason is coming out 15 years late. And it still is. In a lot of ways. There are some giant red flags in here, but probably one of the biggest ones out of the bunch that people certainly hopped onto and the movie makers noticed is the inclusion of Influencer Smurf. You've seen it before. It is gag number 1 when it comes to an influencer joke, and now he's gone. He's missing. They deleted Influencer Smurf, and in his place is Vanity Smurf, which I think already existed. They're still part of the ensemble and follow around the whole movie, saying maybe 4 lines at most, like most of the other Smurfs. As I say, this isn't a good movie anyway. But instead of having a phone in his hand all the time, they've replaced it with a mirror. Wow, okay. But what I can see from pretty much every other aspect is there was not enough time to change anything else, and so everything else is pretty much what you see, and it's not good. This is just your classic, Rihanna wanted to be the protagonist in an animated movie and picked one that already had one and just ran with it. That's the vibe I get, at least. And funnily enough, she's not even the protagonist of this movie. The marketing would make you think that Rihanna is the up-and-front coming celebrity. No, guess who it is? Do you remember anyone else in the cast list? Yeah, it's him. Mr. No Name himself, James Corden is the protagonist. Can you tell that this movie is 10 years outdated already? It's just another Trolls, but hey, at least he actually sings this time. The whole plotline is about a generic Smurf is taken try and take down the evil wizard guy. All the while, James Corden is trying to discover who he is. There's a good long section at the beginning of them saying they've tried everything on the list, and in there actually is Influencer Smurf crossed out, which was a nice little detail for the animators to chuck in. And everyone else really wants to support this guy, but they haven't found his thing yet. And that already is a little bit of a split for what they're trying to tell for the story, because they're trying to run with the idea that James Corden feels like an outsider. He has a whole sing-song at the beginning that he wants to believe he has something. He hits some high notes, cool, I don't care. Why is this a musical? Don't need it, whatever. Basic, generic, family fun. But then he's like, oh, I'm such an outsider, when everyone's clearly still in with him. Like, he's fine. He just has some existential crisis things. It's not as strong as other generic outsider protagonists, you know? Anyway, they have a nice DreamWorks dance sequence at the beginning of the movie, which you've seen in all the trailer footage, and fun fact, it is not the trailer music. That goes in the credits, because of course it does. How else are you meant to dance to hee hee ha ha ha? So, there you go there. But beyond what is otherwise, so far, a very generic family movie, you then have so much new, I think, backstory and lore in so many directions. I wasn't sure if this was meant to be like a reboot, fresh start to the Smurfs universe, or if you're meant to watch the prior Smurfs movies. I've never seen anything Smurfs, and I would assume, judging by the target demographic is notably younger kids, kind of family, I don't know, man. There's a lot you have to digest immediately. For example, Papa Smurf has 2 brothers now, and those 3 Papa Smurfs went up against 4 evil wizards at once. None of them are Gargamel, by the way. They're then the guardians of 4 magical books that are sentient, and also now there's going to be new divisions of Smurfs, different named characters which expand the lore, and a whole new brand of species as well. It's a lot. And then Smurfette also has an origin story. Is it from the other Smurf movies? Yes. Okay, at least that's established from general Smurfs lore and the movies as well. Smurfette was created by Gargamel out of mold, out of clay, to be the evil one that infiltrates the village. That could have been its own movie, and I guess it was back when it was Hilary Duff. But now, that whole origin is also crammed in there, beyond the 3 fathers, the 4 wizards, the 4 books, 2 Gargamels as well in this movie, and a whole new species of pooter snoots. As I say, easy to consume family generic movie. Anyway, in connecting to the actual main plot with Mr. James Corden shoved in the middle of it, one of the books has not been taken by the evil people and is hidden at Smurf Village. Not that any of the Smurfs know it, and they're not actually at the village, they're at the forest next to the village. But sure, you could have integrated them with society, but no, they'll just be on the run the whole time. And while no-name Smurf is singing to himself, hoping he gets a thing, the magic book notices and gives him magic powers. He is now the Magic Smurf, even though they repeatedly say there are no magic Smurfs. Just to cause a conflict in there, I guess. Which he then immediately starts splattering magic in every direction, and instead of making fireworks when showing off to the village, he instead makes a full portal straight to the bad guys. I mean, at least it's out of control, and that makes sense. I'm sure they'll keep that consistent later. This then brings us to the villain guy. The ironic highlight of the movie because of just how weird and black-hearted and strange it is. Jax Films is in this movie, but not like as himself. He's not voice acting, he's not associated at all, but this is him. The Smurfs movie is aiming up to be the marketing of Emoji Movie. Like, they wanted to get noticed by him and run it as like a viral ironic thing, I think, that they had when it was Sony. I don't know what this is, man. He is now just the henchman guy a whole way through to Rosamel, not Gargamel, Gargamel's brother, Rosamel. Razamel, maybe, Razamel. I don't know how I'm supposed to say it in my accent. Again, another movie original character. I don't, like, what? I don't know what they're doing, man. This movie is a ride. But also, it's surprisingly boring, you know? It's not terrible, 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 because it then just goes for all the easiest paths through. The cinema screening I went to see this movie had about 5% attendance, which is better than the usual 1% I see on most of these animated movies. Weirdly enough, it was almost entirely families of two, where, I mean, there's one parent and one kid. I don't know why. I guess both parents never wanted to see Smurf movie at the same time. And there were no laughs. There were like 6 children in the cinema screening. None of them laughed. One of them ran back and forth on the floor, and another one had their parent on their phone the entire time. That's just the grumblings of the type of parents that bring their kids to cinemas, I guess? I don't know. Either way, this movie didn't seem to have an impact on anybody. Now, the Jax Films character slightly sounds like him sometimes, but also, like, when you look at the character poster for this guy, it's just rude. Like, at least it could have at least been a joke. I mean, it brings me so much ironic joy to see how much, like, it's just flubbing everywhere. Anyway, that character on multiple occasions gets beaten up and injured just to keep things a little bit weird. How dare someone criticize a notably bad movie, even though they weren't even criticizing this one. They just took the jump and went for it anyway. And it really must be a movie that's 10 years outdated if it's gunning for Jax Films like the Emoji Movie did. Like, that's old school, you know? Not that Jax Films himself is outdated. Maybe I could have worded that better. Anyway, now that they've opened the lair to the bad guys, Rosamel kidnaps Papa Smurf with a tractor beam. The other Smurfs then immediately teleport Gargamel to their village, and then are able to instantly trap him in a cage, even though it's kind of meant to be established that all the Smurfs in the village are, like, unaware of the rest of the world. They don't know any of the Smurf backstory lore, but I guess they had a history with Gargamel before this movie? I don't know, man. Anyway, there's a vinyl that then teleports them to Ken's world, which is also the live-action world, but at least they don't meet James Marsden or anything. They just run around without ever being noticed by blind humans. There's a moment where a Smurf is on like a wine glass and doesn't get noticed by the human taking a sip. It's maddening. They meet Ken inside of a disco ball, which actually, as a concept, I don't hate. There's also a nice sequence on that dance floor where it's like a photo shoot of them paws dodging all the human feet. That's nice. And then this guy, Ken Smurf, even though his name, he doesn't even have Smurf in the name. It's just Ken. And also in the posters, they just outright ripped off Barbie for it. It's shallow, easy family film entertainment. Thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more animated movie reviews. Soon enough, there'll be the bad guys too. Hopefully a little bit better than this one. Yeah, I expect it will be. He then just joins the ensemble group. There's a whole collection of French Smurfs, by the way. But they don't have French accents, despite being established at the Eiffel Tower, and they just turn it on sometimes, but the rest of the time, they are American. Like, there's lots of that in this movie, you know? It's like, what? Oh, this is simple, you know? Oh, also, there's a turtle. His name is Turtle. The joke is that he's slow. He loves saying, "what the shell," as if that's just breaking the boundaries of comedy, and he says it multiple times because they've struck gold with that one. Anyway, he's joined them all the way up to the disco ball, and then he leaves them from the disco. He doesn't join them anymore. He got his lines in. Ironically, he has more lines than the other ensemble of Smurfs, all the main funky ones. Brainy's here. Hefty's here. Grouchy's here. And they say like 3 words each. It's bloated ensemble. Yeah, classic. And they're only gonna get more Smurfs as they go along. But first, they teleport to Australia accidentally because of a trap. Here they meet the Snooterpoots. They love cake. I don't know what they're doing, man. This movie is freaking maddening. Like, it makes sense when you're watching it, but also it's just like, they just cram stuff in, and it just, I don't know, man. It's just someone they go to help to infiltrate the evil lair, then they say no, and then they get kidnapped, and then they help by the end. Cinema. It's at this point we then get to the second song in this musical of a movie, and it's the only song left. There are 2 songs in this. It's James Corden singing, saying he wants to believe, and then it's Smurfette singing to James Corden, saying, you should believe. The animation, though, genuinely, the music video stuff's really, really nice and good, and all throughout, it's well animated, and there's some good stylistic choices, but that's always the case with these pretty terrible movies. It's never the animator's fault. Where did the writers ever come out of the strike? Are they the only ones that are high? I don't get it, man. Then again, with a terrible problem like this, I don't know how you could stitch all these pieces together. There's a sequence of them inside of a kangaroo pouch, and the kangaroos start singing. But my favorite line is straight after that, when James Corden Smurf says, but the kangaroo part was weird. That was about as close to a exhale as I got. The only other line that seemed to get any murmurings from my crowd in the cinema was the turtle saying, yeah, they're all gonna die after leaving them, which is also generic comedy 103, maybe. It's joke 3. Anyway, so at this point, like, Smurfette and James Corden get a Five Guys Uber into the castle. I don't know how they had the ability to call an Uber without a phone, without the address, how they knew that it was being ordered, or how they infiltrated. They didn't see it coming along. They came up with the idea to do the, I don't know. They were eating Five Guys, but they were unmarked Five Guys eating fries the whole time. It half sounds like I'm boiling down into a rap just describing these scenes. And then eventually we crash into the villain that's got everybody except Smurfette and James Corden. And we learn, oh god, Magic Smurf wasn't magical. It was the book hiding under his hat, Ratatouille style. Rosamel then betrays his brother, who's there as well, by the way, earns the book, turns it evil, and disappears with all the power in the world. And everyone that's ever collected inside this room, except for Jack's Films, who's also there crushing his hand, that's why he's doing the in the poster, all join up for the final fight that's still ages away. It's here that they then also do the whole, Smurfette, you were evil, and then she's like, no, I'm not now. Off they go. I'm like, are we supposed to know this lore? Was that the explanation? It's just, oh god, it's so much. Anyway, Razamel then goes over to a meeting room. You've seen this in the trailers as well, with the other wizards. Why are there wizards? Why do they look like that? I'm pretty sure that one's also Asmongold. What is going on in this movie, man? Can I be in the sequel? I mean, I'm criticizing this movie. Apparently, that's all the certificate accolades you need. Genuinely, if I could voice act in the Smurfs movie too, I don't care how trashy it is, I'll take it. I mean, now I think about it, I guess it is a bucket list of mine. Either be in an animated movie or be in a terrible one. It puts a smile on my face, so I can't say no. Anyway, the others go back to the real world, but now it's like Munich. Oh yeah, the castle's in Munich. This is a thing. So there's a live action world that the Smurfs are in sometimes, and they're hiding. But there's also Smurf Village in its own dimension. There's a lot of spacey stuff that's clearly in its own dimension. The castle is in Munich. But I think they just are cartoons. It's just cartoons living with humans. But nobody notices them? How does this, I don't know, man. Anyway, everyone then hijacks a human car. I missed the part where they hacked in or how they did it, but they did. And then they just drive straight through into this wall-less abstract room to do the final battle. Everyone's immediately like popped out of existence with the magical summon or other, so that Smurfette and James Corden can swim through multiple art styles. Again, the animation's pretty great, in the sense that it's clearly doing what Inside Out already did, but it's good cinema, I guess, in animation. There's a reference to an old Smurfs video game, and they tell a video game jokes 101. Oh my god, I can't run left! Ha! Well, it's freaking, we're back to the 80s with this one. Also here, we meet Tardigrade, another character poster that did not need to be spoiled. This movie goes into so many directions. There's a tardigrade in one of the dimensions. One of the dimensions was just small dimension, I guess. Anyway, in the final scene, after all of this, the total cinematic narrative masterpiece, Magic Smurf realizes they did have magic inside them after all, despite there not ever being a Magic Smurf, and there's no theme there. He just had it all along because he does have it all along, and also has full control over everything he ever wants to do. You want black hole discs to throw around? He can do it, and then instantly trounces Rosamel. Also, at this point, there are 9 Smurfs on the floor. He also just pops them back into existence after they were sucked away into a hole. I don't know what happened to those bodies, but they've reincarnated now. There's 9 Smurfs on this floor. There's 3 Pootasmoots, and one of them's their leader. There's Gargamel and his cat. There's a drink fountain with the other 3 wizards in there. There's obviously Rosamel in the sky, and then there's about to be a 10th Smurf in the form of the lost 3rd brother to Papa Smurf, all in this same... What is that? A cast of 16? 19 if you count the wizards, all crammed into this finale scene, and arguably that's not enough, because if this is the final battle against the wizard that finally got all 4 books that they've never had before, that want to end all good in the universe or something, where are the French Smurfs? Why aren't they involved if it's his end of the world scenario? I don't know. Anyway, Papa Smurf's brother with the long hair, you might see him in some footage, also reappears after being sucked into a black hole. The hero crowd is 15 by the end. So bloated, nobody has any damn lines in this movie. Time for a DreamWorks dance party. And you never guess what's in the post-credits scene. It's Jack's Films again, hired by Gargamel for some sequel bait. This is a bingo card of a movie. You know what I mean? It's just the most generic, basic, unfunny, but easy path Smurf movie with loads of new material but crammed in and bloatedly unpolished. And unfortunately, it's just boringly fine. In a bubble, the narrative is fine. There's loads of extra stuff they cram in, but you can follow it. There's just loads of stupid lore, generic jokes like a slow turtle being slow that they repeat multiple times. He shows up in the finale to get swooped away and he goes, "What the shell?" again, because Shell is the funniest thing after Hell. And I can't even trash the Influencer Smurf, because that's the one thing they did delete. It is still, though, just a 2010 movie again. It's James Corden up front and center. And the only thing I really got out of this experience is just how poor some of the parenting has gotten in cinemas. They were taking selfies with their children mid-movie to document that their children were there watching a movie in public. It was something else, man. But judging by the fact that only, 7.5 families showed up, there were a couple other people that were just solo by themselves, so I didn't feel like a total weirdo this time. That's nice. I don't think this movie's gonna make any impact. It's just another movie, and if they're not going for major profits like the Garfield movie, I guess we'll get a sequel one day. Can't wait to see Jack's Films doing something more. What a colossal waste of time. It wasn't even terrible enough that I could trash it that harshly. It's just, unfortunately, another. But hey, franchises have got a franchise. What else can they do? James Corden's got to pay his bills somehow. On that note, though, I shall finally end things off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this review. Do tell me your thoughts on the Smurfs movie, if you've seen it, or if you would choose not to. Yeah, that's all I can say on it. And I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!